is the BK Lounge Podcast. Welcome to laughs, love, and crazy debates by your two favorite hosts, Burt and Kenny. Join us in talks about military life, relationships, golf life, and so much more. Your new favorite place to come hang out on Sundays. Introducing the BK Lounge Podcast, a Burt's Beat Studios production. And now your hosts, Burt and Kenny.
Hello? Hello?
Hello? Oh, my mic was on?
Yeah. That's...
What? I literally just turned it on, though.
Do you have another mic on right now?
No, that one's off. What the heck? Well, happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Welcome in. Episode 18, 1-8. We're legal age for cigarettes, gambling.
Not here. Not in North Carolina.
What's North Carolina?
21.
For what?
All of it. Well, no, gambling, you can be 18. You can't buy cigarettes.
You can't buy cigarettes?
Nope. No nicotine tobacco products in the state of North Carolina until you're 21.
Dang, Gina.
Uneducation.
What, did they change that as of like last couple of years?
No, I actually didn't know until recently. One of my outside staff guys just turned 18, and I was just like, oh, you're going to buy some cigarettes? And he's like, no, you got to be 21. And I'm like, huh?
That's great. Can you get scratch-offs
Yeah.
at 18?
Yeah.
Huh. You can gamble with your money, but you can't gamble with your life. Strange.
Yeah.
You can join the military at 18, but you can't have a dart?
Some people join it at 17.
Yeah.
Oh.
Boop.
Crazy.
But yeah, welcome in, everybody. Happy Sunday. Last episode, we kind of talked about what we had going on. Termites, back windshield issues, my trip to Texas, Kenny's busy week. We ended the podcast with like this excitement of, ooh, we found our dream home. Right after this, we're going to go apply for it.
For anybody that thinks that things will get better, they don't.
Now, they don't feel like it.
Nothing gets better. Just misery. Terrible sandwich. It's Masters week. Should be excited. It's my favorite tournament of the year. I always have like a vivid memory because the Masters was the first tournament that I moved into the apartment with you.
Really?
Uh-huh. And you sat there before you actually did streaming and all of that, and you sat there and you're like, oh, I'm playing games. And at that point, I watched it in your bed because your TV had it.
Oh, that's right. Yes, you were. As I remember that now.
Because we couldn't get it on the big TV in the living room, so I sat in your bed and I watched the Masters on my day off.
Yep, I do remember that now very, very vividly.
Yeah.
I remember that. That was the closest you ever came to getting in my bed.
That's crazy.
But yeah, we ended the last episode finding our dream home that we were going to rent and stay there for 3, 5, 7 years, maybe even buy it afterwards. We were so excited. We viewed it. We got off the podcast. We're like, we're going to go apply for it. I'm finishing up some things with the podcast, and Kenny was like, I can't find it anymore. And I'm like, what do you mean? And like my stupid self went to Zillow, and I'm like, it's still on Zillow. And she was talking about the actual property management website, and it was gone.
In the time that we were spending with y'all,
we lost the house.
So.
And my thought was like, well, it's a Sunday. Ain't nobody working on a Sunday. It's got to be a glitch. I'll call first thing tomorrow morning.
What a naive boy.
Naive or just hopeful thinking?
No, naive. But granted, you've only ever been in the same apartment on your own practically your whole adult life.
No, I've had a few places before Finney Crossing.
Yeah, but they're all apartments.
Yeah.
Doesn't work like that when you have a house, when you're renting a house. It's kind of first come, first serve. When you have an apartment, you have all these options because it's an apartment building. You have all different rooms, vacancies, leases, lease agreements. Everything's constantly moving when you live in an apartment. I lived in an apartment. My whole time in Florida, I stayed in the same apartment. It's the same thing because there was times where they're like, oh, there's a bigger place opening up, there's a smaller place opening up. Every month, there's always something changing. And, I was like,
Yeah.
no, not with the house. Because the same thing happened when Jess and I were moving to Charlotte. Is we came here, looked at houses, found the one, we're like, this is perfect. It's a good size for the two of us. It's close to, the nightlife, the city, but out of the city. We have a house. It was good area, fenced-in yard for Bo, and we traveled back to Fort Myers, and we got to the apartment that we were in Florida, went to go apply for it, and it was gone. And I'm like, what? We were just there 6 hours ago.
So that's how you guys learned, huh?
Yep. And called the management company, and they're like, yeah, it's first come, first serve. As soon as that application gets approved, gets taken down, and see you never.
So I called literally first thing Monday, and they're like, yeah, it looks like a lease was accepted. And I was like, okay, haha, yeah, we'd be interested in signing a longer lease and giving you a down payment right now. And they're like, yeah, fair housing laws prevent us from doing that. And I was like, oops, okay, yeah, no problem. Just thought I'd throw that out there in case
Which is literally on all of the
applications
and management websites is there are seriously strict fair housing laws.
So we called them, and they're like, well, there is a chance, and the people that got their application approved have 24 hours to sign the lease, and then another 24 hours to get the security deposit. So there is a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, ooh, okay. We called, I think, on, was it Monday again or maybe Tuesday? I don't know, but they're like, Wednesday morning we'll know for sure.
We called Monday. We both did.
Wednesday morning we'll know for sure. And we're like, okay, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. And this time we're still looking at houses. We're still bopping around. Wednesday rolls around. My eyes open. I immediately call the number. And I'm like, hey, it's me again. Any chance this house is coming back on?
No.
And they're like, nope. They've signed. They've paid. It's theirs.
They're moving in.
God damn it.
Yeah, no, it was honestly, it's been depression. It's been a lot of depression.
A lot of it. And we're not giving up in the sense of what we want to do, but we're also not very, well, I think now we are. But there was a point where we're like, well, maybe we'll just buy. And then I started reaching out through the VA to get pre-approved, to see what we could get pre-approved for. I actually got pre-approved last year for an amount. And then with me revisiting again this year, they're like, hey, we want to update some stuff. Obviously, I'm not full-time military anymore, and I have the streaming business and the LLC, so we updated that. And once we updated that, it actually dropped our pre-approval because I only have 1 year of 1099 employment, and they need 2 years. And if they go back the year prior, my income was very different.
So anybody that watches the podcast or Burt's Beat, make sure that you're sharing, you're liking, you're subscribing, you're doing all of it so that in a year from now we can buy our dream home.
Yeah.
It's not necessary, but just show us our support so that people know that we're not just, bums on the side of the road.
So it took a good amount of a pre-approval from last year and just about nearly slashed it in half, which very much limits us, especially on what we're trying to achieve. Because, yes, we're approved and we could probably find a house for that. Mm-hmm. But it's not going to be a house that we're going to be in love with, I don't think, for super, super long term.
And, honestly, the twist of the knife was yesterday. My dad was here. He came in on Monday. He was here for the whole week. My parents closed on their house here in North Carolina, which we're super excited for them.
Still cannot believe it's real.
Yeah, it's officially official.
I feel like it was just a week ago. We were in the car going to the DMV, and your parents were like, yeah, we'll come down and look. And I was like, what? They're interested? And then they have a house.
Yeah, they have a house now. We actually have the keys to the house for them because they'll have mail, contractors. It's a brand new house.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous house.
Nice neighborhood, brand new neighborhood.
Yeah, so it's very exciting for them. Little, you know, exciting step for, you know, my family, because my sister and her family are still moving. We actually went and looked at some open houses for them yesterday. But everybody's moving, a lot of moving pieces.
Everybody's getting new, big, flashy houses.
Yeah, a little twist of the knife, but we're happy for them.
Yes, we're very excited.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with us, because at the end of the day is
we have a house, we're good.
Yeah, we're not homeless, we're not getting kicked out.
Right.
And that's just the process of what we're in, and I'm sure a lot of people go through that. Is, you know, something that we've been just back and forth on is, yeah, we rent, and really it's just a matter of finding a home that we want to be in for the things that we need and enjoy. You know, we want to be closer to our family. We don't want to be too far from our boat. I want to be closer to work since I commute. But also, like, long term is, you know, I don't know if I'm going to be at the same club for X amount of time. You know, there was even this past week talking to, you know, somebody from my past and, you know, past job, and even considering going back to where I was, like, it's all just like a lot of moving pieces. And
it's just so many like what ifs and so many options. Because again, we're looking at houses and we're finding some that we're like, yeah, we could make do with this, but we don't love this, or we're a little worried about that. It's got great space. Oh, the upstairs is perfect. You know, downstairs is a little rough in some spots.
Yeah.
And then it really just comes down to, okay, are we in love with it, and do we see ourselves staying a minimum 2 years? And that's like bare minimum 2 years.
Yeah.
Because we are going to be going into a bigger house. It's going to be more expensive every month, so that's less savings for the time when we want to buy a house. And with the VA kind of lowering my pre-approval because of the 1099 self-employment, you know, issues, it kind of pushes us away from buying right now. And then again, we found some nice big houses in our price range for renting if we were going to stay 2 to 3, 4, 5 years, but we weren't like in love with them like we were that other house.
Right. And it has nothing to do with, like, you know, and it was something that we thought about, is like, oh, if we were to say, if we were married and in this process, how would it be different? And they made it very clear it wouldn't be different.
You're right.
Because combined income doesn't really matter. It's more of like whose credit score is better than whose, and then they take the lower of the two.
Right. So if it was just me, they would look at all 3 of my credit scores. Whichever credit score was the lowest, that's what the interest rate would be off of. Correct. And then if Kenny and I were married, they would look at her 3 and my 3, and whoever has the lowest of the 6, that's what the interest rate is off of.
So it's at the point where it's like, oh, we'll buy a house before we get married. Because at the same time I did 4 years of college. I have student loans. So the debt to income ratio is a little bit different than, say, what yours is, just because you didn't have that.
Right.
Is you did, what, a semester or a year?
Yeah, a semester.
Yeah, I did a semester at school. So I have 8 of the semesters to the one, and yours is paid off. So
yeah,
and that's what we're working on, and that was the consideration of renting for another year, is to, you know, pay off a huge chunk of, you know, my student loan. And because really that's it's not necessarily a dark cloud as we pay it, and, you know, it is a large amount.
Just a battle. We had a battle.
But
it comes with the territory of doing it.
It's like there's so many like different directions, because, you know, we look at, oh, and, you know, the future is like when we get married, like it will benefit my student loan, my interest rate will plummet down. Right. And then, but if we were to buy a house, our interest rate increases significantly.
Right.
So, like, I know there's so many people out there that deal with it, and, you know, you talk to different people. I've talked to, you know, different people at work, and I've talked to the boys at work that, like Lewis, and, you know, it's a lot, and there's just different phases of your life. And I was talking to Britt last night after dropping my dad off at the airport, and, you know, everything kind of happens for a reason, regardless if it's easy or not. And it's just one of those times right now where it's like, nothing really feels that easy.
No, and like we've looked at so many places, and then or we go to a place and it looks super great and we can't get into it.
Right.
And then trying to reach out to the property management to either get the code to work or get someone from their agency to go look at it, or it's not available until the end of May. It's just like that for me is like the most frustrating part.
Right. And it's like at the point where it's like neither of us really want to settle. Because it's exciting and it would be exciting for us to be in like our own place, a new place. But like there's really nothing wrong with the house that we're in. Like it's not our forever home, it's temporary, but you know, we have a yard, we have space, like our houses are not on top of each other. Yeah, we live on a little bit of a busier road, but it's not like the busiest road.
Right, it's not like a main road, just that cut through action that happens.
But outside of that, like the house that we're in is outside of the recent issues that made me crazy and us crazy, but
poor the company actually is to work with.
Yeah, no, the company is terrible, but at the same time is we're getting what we pay for. We're renters. It's not our house.
Right.
Like,
yep.
You know, and it's just one of those things, and we're kind of battling the two. And yesterday when we were looking around for my sister and finishing some stuff up for, you know, my dad and my mom, we
were bouncing around to some houses, saw a couple.
Yeah, I saw a couple, and then I got a text from, you know, he's one of the Zillow representatives, and we were going to look at a house, like, to buy earlier in the week, and pulled up to it, and we're like, absolutely not. House is beautiful.
Beautiful house. Worst location possible.
Yeah, terrible. Shared driveway with, like, a rundown house. There was a giant drainage that went through the backyard.
That they actually built a bridge over to get to your other half of your yard. That's how big the drainage was.
Yeah, no, it was literally a trench. And so it's just one of those things is like once you know, but the place that we were gonna, you know, apply to and hopefully get and do
that we fell in love with,
that we were obsessed with. This guy reached out to us yesterday and he was like, "Hey, I got a property in this development," and we're like,
"No way."
I was like, "Shut up." I was like,
same road. It was almost an identical build, right?
It literally identical build. It was actually a better part of the lot. It's literally a dead end road with a cul-de-sac at the end, and it was the corner house.
Yeah, it was like there was only like one or two houses on that cul-de-sac, and it was one of them. One of the biggest lots on the cul-de-sac, all the way at the end. Beautiful color on the outside. It was identical to the house that we wanted to rent. Identical.
And so I was like, "Is this for like renting or buying?" And he was like, "It's not on the market yet, but it's going up for sale." And I literally like could have had a stroke right on the spot. And at that point, I was like, "How much?"
Right. Because with the first pre-approval, we probably could have gotten away with it, but with the change of it, completely took it out of our hands.
It literally was off of the initial pre-approval that we thought that we could go into at the beginning of the week. It was like
20,000 over.
Yeah, 20,000 over, which is like what we have in our savings and like something that I'd be like, okay, well, we can pay the difference with our down payment. And immediately just disappointment.
And the kicker on top of that was he let us know that it was built by a property management company, was for rent, and now they're selling it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, can we rent to buy? Like, who do we need to talk to be like, hey, let us rent for 2 to 3 years and we'll buy it. Hell, let us rent it for a year and we'll buy it from you next year. But it's just like property management companies don't give a crap. They don't care. Because right now they're getting X amount of dollars for it and they have no idea what they're going to get for it in a year.
So just like
one thing after another.
Just a kick in the guts. And so we're heading back home and I was like, let's look.
We made the mistake of driving down the dead end road where the rental was and that house was coming up for sale.
And so we pulled in and the people that got the house
are in our house.
That are in the house that we wanted were moving in. It was so sad.
Yeah.
It was so sad.
Robbie, her dad, was in the back seat and he's like, "What are we driving down here for? This isn't a good idea."
And I just like immediately I'm like, this is just bad. And we go down to the house, and I'm like, that is like a perfect home.
Perfect.
And just a little disappointment, but if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be.
No, and again, like we talked about a little bit last night, you had mentioned, because we found one house in an area that we liked that was closer to the boat, closer to work, good-sized house, nice neighborhood, nice lot, fenced in, and had a ton of space upstairs. The upstairs was absolutely perfect. A little bit of a weird layout, but very, very good. Downstairs, I don't know if there's a lot of people in the North Carolina, South Carolina area. We have a question. A lot of these houses that we're walking into have a massive dining room and then like another opening next to the dining room. It's not like closed out. It's not its own room. It's like two dining rooms. Then you have your living room, your kitchen, like your breakfast nook. What do people use that for?
It's just like, do you have 3 living rooms? Because everybody puts another living room
upstairs in the bonus room. Yeah, it's just it was a dining room with like 2 pillars on the side. It wasn't like a half wall. It wasn't like another door. It didn't have like French doors. It was
beam support.
Yeah, it was just 2 squares next to each other. One had a chandelier and one had like a normal overhead light. We were just confused as to like, what would we even put here?
Right.
And it's like, oh, would we just put like an informal sitting area that's for show? Like we would never use it.
Because there's a lot of them that do have closed off rooms, and like that would be like perfect for like an office.
Right.
But yeah, coffee
bar. There's been a couple, and like we saw one that had a coffee bar, and we reached out to them. It wasn't available until like end of May, and we're like, hey, we're kind of interested in it. We'd love to see it. How does the process work for you guys? And they're like, oh, it's simple. You apply. If you get selected, you give us a down payment or the security deposit, and then you can go look at it. I was like, okay, and what if we don't like it? They're like, well, you lose the security deposit or you find another house through us. And I'm like, so we're going to wait over a month and a half, spend money on a house we'd never seen, and they're like, oh, yeah, people do that all the time. And I'm like, that doesn't sound great. That doesn't sound great at all.
So, yeah, it's been a process. It's a little bit defeating, but it is what it is. And
like you said, thankfully we do have a place. We're not on a time crunch where we need to find something and we have to settle. Because I think the last house we looked at was best location so far that we've seen. Size was good, but like the kitchen wasn't incredible. There was a lot of damage to like the windows. And we were just like, yeah, we could probably make it work. But also, like, do we want to pick up everything, pay more money to go into something that we probably can do?
Yeah.
Like we said, we have to love it.
Right.
We love that one house. Does it suck? Abso-freaking-lutely. Do I think we can continue to look and maybe find another one we fall in love with? Absolutely. But if we don't, we've got this place. We're good for another year. We're to continue saving for even a bigger down payment. An extra year of, BB Studios will help that. And by next year, we'll be able to buy, make it our own, find something that we fall in love with, and then we don't have to worry about, oh, well, what are we going to do in 2 years? Mm-hmm. What are we going to do in 3 years? And who knows? In a year, you might be working in Pinehurst. Who knows? Just sucks.
Sure.
It's very, very frustrating.
For sure. But it is what it is.
But it will get better. As much as we thought it was, like, that we thought we saw the massive light at the end of the tunnel with that house. It was just a little dangling light still in the tunnel. We passed that light, and it's still very dark right now. But we know that the tunnel will eventually have an exit.
Maybe it's collapsed.
Maybe it's collapsed.
No, yeah, I mean, yeah. Just like I said last week and what I continue to say. It's from the formal words of my nephew. I really don't even care.
Just stinks.
I really don't even care.
And the craziest part is, like, when we stumbled upon that house, we had already looked at 15. We didn't even know that was there. And the day prior, I think, we had just decided to talk about looking. Like, the timing of it all, of, like, what if we did it a week prior?
It's a roller coaster.
It's tough. It's tough to swallow, especially driving by and then seeing people moving in. It's just like, man, God, dog.
And for everybody that doesn't know this, but I drive by it every day on my way to work.
Yeah. And her, like, dream house is on that same road. So she always drove by that and was like, oh, I love that house. Every time we go by it, she always talks about how much she loves it. And then we found that house, and it's just like a double whammy.
Yeah.
But we do have, I mean, there is a little potential, we think, possibly in a house that we did apply for. It's not owned by a property manager. It's owned by a lady. It's a little bit out of the distance that we're looking for. It is a newer build. It is on a cul-de-sac, fenced-in backyard, very pretty house. Unfortunately, doesn't have a ton of photos on it. Has somebody in it right now. Is a little slow to reply.
And I think it's her.
You think she lives there?
Yeah.
She might. That's a good possibility. Because the way we looked at it on Zillow, it didn't look like it went up for rent before at all.
No. But yeah, so we don't know. And then the one that has the built-in coffee bar I was actually looking at yesterday. So we might do a drive-by today when we go to the grocery store or something and see if it's in an area we like. And then, who knows, maybe we'll apply and just see what happens. I don't even care.
It's so, and like, that's the thing. Like, you showed me that app, or that website where you can self-tour. I freaking love that. I think that's absolutely awesome. And I understand what these property management companies are doing by advertising something that's coming out so they don't have, a month of nobody in there. I get that, but it's just so frustrating. And their answer is being like, yeah, apply, give us a security deposit, and if you don't like it, you lose your money.
Right.
Like, what? We did run into one company that said you give us $500, you view it. If you don't like it, we'll give you that $500 back. But they didn't have any other really houses that we were super in love with. Yep.
So here we are.
Here we are.
We love that.
We love that.
But it's Masters Week.
It is Masters Week. It's a big weekend. Not only for the Masters, but TARP has had a big weekend this weekend. Yeah. Raising money for the Gamers Outreach Program. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. This was my first true fundraiser that I was a part of. And I've kind of talked about it on my stream a little bit. I was sick as a kid. Kenny was sick as a young kid. When I was sick, I was a freshman in high school. Was not feeling well at all. It was the very first week of high school. I remember it very, very vividly. I was super, super sick. My parents thought it was kind of like a flu, something, didn't really know. And we ended up going camping in upstate New York. And I was sick, throwing up the entire way, like sicker than I've ever felt. And later that night, they decided, let's go to the hospital, or we went to urgent care, and they're like, you need to get him to the hospital, like, ASAP. And I was in the hospital for quite a while. I always get them mixed up. I had viral meningitis. 13, 14 years old, sick, didn't really know what was going on, was going through like spinal taps and all sorts of crazy stuff. And that hospital in the children's section had a gaming cart. It was an old gaming cart. It was 2008, probably 2007. And they wheeled in this gaming cart. It was a Nintendo 64. I had a Nintendo 64 when I was a kid. Didn't care. Was just super stoked to be able to play a video game in the hospital, detach everything that was kind of going on. And now to think, here I am, 31 years old, streaming video games with an amazing community, being a part of the Academy Roleplay, and being able to raise money to buy a gaming cart for a kid and many kids who are in our situation, that makes me feel absolutely incredible. I set a goal of $2,000 for the weekend. It was expecting if we raised $500-600, we helped. We helped. And to buy a cart, it was $3,500. I set a goal of $2,000. And within a half an hour, we raised that $2,000. And then another 10, 15 minutes later, we had raised $4,000. Mm-hmm. And TARP, yesterday, hit the $100,000 raised. $100,000 raised. Absolutely freaking incredible. It is, I tell everyone that I just don't play a server, I just don't play a game. The Academy Roleplay is so much more than just a game. It's more than just a community. The amount of money that they raise for so many good causes, it's incredible to be a part of. And I always talk about, like, be good to one another. Like, this is how we make the world a better place, one stream at a time. And
For sure.
to think that, we might have the option to choose what hospital that we want to donate a gaming cart to. Like, Kenny was in the hospital for a long time in Vermont. Like, I would love to donate one to the section that she was in, because there were a lot of kids like her right now, in the future, and unfortunately forever, that are going to be going through stuff that they don't deserve to go through. And if we can donate a cart to that section of the hospital where we have a connection to.
Right. No, absolutely. It's kind of like crazy because, you think about stuff like that and you think about finding purpose, and there's so many things that you can do, which, like, this fundraiser, if it's the ice cream event, if it's, the bike event, is like the community that you're in, you guys do stuff for that all the time. And and it's the same thing with what I do for work as well. Is, we run tournaments, like even Wednesday, with the Masters this week, is every year for the past 17 years, we do a Masters Par 3 tournament, and all of the money, so $10 per person from the entry, goes to supporting kids that can't afford to do the summer camps. We pay for X amount of kids to come to camp that,
That's awesome.
can't afford it.
Yep.
It's just, it's crazy. It's crazy where, like, you find the community to support different things that you connect to, that other people connect to, and, just the fact of, giving back to something that meant something to you, to me, to,
Right.
Both of our families is, like, what we went through was different, but also the same at the same time.
Right.
And, it's crazy that we can give back. It was like, I think about when, my family was there and the ways that we've given back to the way that they gave back to us. Is like, I remember in high school, I was going through it and I was having some serious, like, survivor's guilt. Because I had bacterial meningitis, which forms, it's usually, so viral is, it's more in, like, certain sections, it's either in your brain or in your spine.
Yep.
But it's easily treatable. It's just hard to figure out what it is initially, which is the reason why you get super sick and becomes a little bit life-threatening. But when you get bacterial, which I had, is it forms an abscess either on your spine or on your brain, and a lot harder to treat. You really can't treat it with antibiotics, especially if it's misdiagnosed, which in my case it was. They misdiagnosed me for quite a bit of time with the flu. And my mom knew. She was like, she doesn't have the flu. She does, like, I was dang near close to being a vegetable.
Yeah.
Which...
Yeah, you went through a lot. It wasn't just like I was there for, a week or so. Like, you weren't in that case.
No, me and my family were in the hospital. I was in the hospital for almost 5 weeks, not a full 5 weeks. So I was in the Children's Hospital in, Burlington, Vermont for about a month, a little over a month.
Yeah.
Major brain surgery. I know it doesn't seem like it, and everybody's like, there's no way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so major brain surgery, got my way out of it, did in-home nursing once I left the 4 weeks. But in that time, it was hard for my family. My brother was 6 years old and did not want to come and see me. So what he did is he went to the little hangout playroom where all of the other families got to stay, and there was a gaming cart, and he got to play a PS1. And that's all he did. Is after school, my sister would, bring him up because my mom stayed at the hospital. She didn't leave the whole time I was there.
Yeah.
And so he would just come right in. I never saw him. He wouldn't come in my room.
Right.
They would pick up McDonald's, get him a Happy Meal. He would go sit in the room and he would play PS1, Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
So it's like,
right.
There's a lot of, great benefits to, what TARP is doing right now with, doing these gaming carts. And I know it's not their first year, and it's only getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Again, it's crazy. It's crazy. And, like, again, you had it way, way, way bad. Like, just, last month was, like, the official 20 years since you got out of the hospital.
Yep.
And, like, you guys were in a dark time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you didn't know. You had no idea.
Yep.
And it wasn't great.
It was St. Patrick's Day. Because it was a week after my dad's birthday. Which, it was my dad's 40th birthday.
Yeah.
And it was just his 60th birthday, which is crazy.
Crazy.
So, you know, everything kind of comes full circle.
Yeah.
And, you know, it makes you feel good about it to give back to something that means so much to you.
Yeah, I was bawling my eyes out on stream.
Were you bawling?
Absolutely bawling my eyes out. Bawling my eyes out. Because, I wasn't really expecting to raise a ton of money. You know, I'm somewhat still the new guy at TARP.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I thought the goal I set was outrageous. And, like, oh, you know, maybe we'll hit, you know, $500-600 through the weekend. Like, it'll help. It's something. You know, I want to be a part of this. And to know that we raised enough to buy one singular cart just from the BB fam absolutely blew me away.
Yeah.
Absolutely blew me away. Especially, like, the connection that I had, the connection that you had of, like, being a kid in the hospital. Like, to know that we can get a cart for a kid like you or a kid like me.
Or
Like,
more like Buster.
more like Buster for you, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's crazy to think about. Like, it's so much more than, like, there's no gaming community. There's probably gaming communities that do similar stuff.
Right.
But, like, I've never been a part of one like this.
Right.
And there's probably a lot of golf courses that don't do stuff like you guys do.
Right.
So again, to be a part of something to help somebody else, incredible.
Right. No,
Absolutely incredible.
Absolutely. It's like there's always stuff, and it doesn't matter what your career is, and it doesn't matter. It's like everybody thinks that they have an idea of one or the other, and you know, everybody just thinks that I play golf, teach golf,
Right.
and it's just hunky-dory, and people just think that you sit in a room, play video games, and people
Right.
watch you, and it's just a free-for-all. It's
Right.
it's a lot bigger than that. Like, even right now, we're doing a fundraiser for PGA Hope, which is a veterans program for
Love that.
the PGA. They work with people with all sorts of, you know, backgrounds from different branches of military to, you know, if you have the opportunity to look up PGA Hope, do it, because it's crazy, and it's something that connects both you and I
Right.
in what I do for work. And so we're doing Scotty's, Squares for Scotty's, and it's just a square board, 100 squares on it. And there's a blind drawing. You can win a Scotty Cameron putter, but each board, once you fill it, goes to $2,000 to the program,
Right.
which can get a new set of clubs for a veteran, people that, you know, might be handicapped, might need a specific cart.
Right.
You know, they have different handicap carts for people that have served, that maybe if they, you know,
Injured
got,
their leg.
you know, hurt their leg, missing an arm, whatever it might be, is there's things that are golf specific that
Yeah.
they're expensive, but all of the money kind of goes to that. They do tournaments, they do benefits. It's just
Yeah.
a good resource. And actually, one of the ambassadors for the country and through North Carolina is one of our members.
That's awesome.
So, and he was a Marine, and you know, great guy, and you know, it's a good thing to have, especially at a large club like I'm at.
Absolutely.
So.
I think that's awesome when you met, because I was reading the board when me and Robbie went in to see you before we played that one day, and I was reading about it. I'm like, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't see, like, I don't remember seeing that at, like, clubs at home.
No, and you know, we're lucky to have it, and he's actually our communications director. He got trained in the Hope certification, and I will probably do it this year.
Yep.
And it's like a 1-day certification where you can teach veterans.
That's
and,
awesome. That's sweet.
Do it, and it's actually at Pinehurst every year. So
That's very
it's just
cool.
a 1-day certification, which is awesome. But no, it's crazy to think that there's different resources like that that are just so close to home. If it's the gaming carts, if it's, you know, squares, and since I do the drawing for the squares, I can't put my name on it, but I put yours on it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And again, some people, and I don't want to say it's sad, but some people will never, like, if you said, hey, we're doing a fundraiser for this, donate whatever you want. You might not get people who are interested, but as soon as you're like, oh, hey, you can win this, then all of a sudden people are interested, which kind of is a little bit double-edged. Like, if you want to help.
Right.
And, like, I offered up, some merch for some, for whoever, donated, so I can understand, like, maybe it helps entice people. And I also want to say thank you.
Right.
Like, if you donate, I want to say thank you.
Right.
Because it's huge.
Right.
And so I can understand, like, hey, we've got this, drawing up here, especially if it's donated. Like, I'm donating, the BB merch. You guys are probably donating the putter. Like, it's...
Right. Well, it's just like...
It's awesome.
We ran a tournament at my last job down in Florida, and it was for Hope Hospice, and it benefited a nonprofit hospice home that was in, right down the road from where the club was. And the amount of money that was raised for that was unbelievable.
Right.
We did it a month before I left and broke a record, and we raised $22,000.
That's awesome.
It relates well because my grandmother, who like I was very close with, was in hospice, and it's expensive and it's draining and it's sad because it's end of life care, but if you can do anything from having home cooked meals to different services, and it's crazy. And we've talked about community before, and it is very important.
Yeah, because anything helps. Because people were like, oh, hey, I'm so sorry I can't donate. Like, don't be sorry. Like, you're here helping.
Right.
Share the link. Talk to somebody about it. That's helping.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's $1 or $2,200.
Right.
Everything helps. Anything helps.
Right.
Share it on your social media platform. If you advocate for something big and you yourself can't make a monetary donation, share the information. Mm-hmm. If you're big on cancer research and you wish you could donate, share it. Get involved.
Right.
There's so many things that you can do that don't require you to have money or to give money to help.
Just like community service.
Yeah.
Community service is free, but it like the impact that it creates is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's like all you have to do is just give your time.
Yeah. Like I see videos on TikTok all the time of like people going to buy like a bunch of roses and then just going to a senior center and handing them out.
Right.
And like what that does to those seniors is mind-blowing.
Well, it's just mental health.
Yeah.
Is people don't understand what giving does to people's mental health. And there's, in our country, our world we battle with mental health issues, and just making somebody feel special is going to sometimes change their life.
Yeah. Because you never know what somebody's going through.
You have no idea what anybody's going through.
A simple hello, hey, how are you, can change somebody's outlook drastically.
So in regards to, what we always say and what like your brand is just be nice, be good to people.
Yeah.
It's free, it doesn't do anything other than take a little bit of energy just to be nice.
Right. Doesn't cost you anything, doesn't hurt you.
You have no idea. You have no idea what it will do. And like, for the things that it reflects on our personal life is like you weren't physically hurt to get the VA rating that you have, right? And it was all mental. Mm-hmm. And so the mental health aspect of all of it is you have no idea what people go through, what they experience behind closed doors. So just being nice to other people.
Because I'll tell you what, people like that I've communicated with or like know that I'm 100% disabled through the VA, they look at me like, no, you're not. Like, again, you have no idea what I've gone through. You have no idea what I deal with. And again, it's none of their business. But it's just like, be good to one another. Like, you don't know what people go through every single day.
No.
Every single day. And you don't have to be, going through combat, deal with this, or, deal with a terrible situation in your life to be going through something. We all go through things. You all go through things. And it's heavy for you because it matters to you. And it doesn't need to matter or make sense to someone else for someone to be kind to you or for you to be kind to them.
Right.
You might not support the military. You might not support, veterans or whatever it is, but to know that I'm dealing with something and for you just to be a good person, that's easy. You don't need to support the war. You don't need to support the decisions. Support the people that went through it and said, hey, I'll do it. I'll do it. Like, there's nothing wrong with being good to one another.
No. And it's as simple as that. It takes more energy to just be angry.
And don't get me wrong, it's tough at times. I think you can agree when we ourselves are dealing with things.
Well, yeah, like the FedEx driver during Christmas. I could have ripped his legs off.
Well, again, we're not perfect people. Like, we go through things, so, the days that we're going through things, it may be more challenging for us to have that open mindset. But if we all have that open mindset when we're having good days, it can help our bad day. My good day can help your bad day. Your good day can help my bad day. Like,
It's just as simple as, like, if you're going through things and you know that you need space because you can't give back in the best way possible, is take the time to yourself. But, like, don't cloud somebody else's sunshine at the end of the day.
Right.
And, that's really what it will come down to at the end of the day is just be good. And if you can't be good, stay in your lane.
Yeah.
And you don't have to
communicate it.
Yeah, you don't have to take it out on other people. Just being like, hey, I need some space.
Right.
I want to be alone.
Yeah, you don't need to spill your life story or what's going on. Just, hey, I'm just not in a good place right now. Could use some space. Could use some time. Do it respectfully. People will understand that. And if somebody doesn't understand that, you don't want that person around you.
No.
Period. Point blank.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, big weekend. Talk to us about the Masters with your nice, fancy new hat from the Masters.
Yes. Masters.
Green jacket.
Who do you want to win? Do you know who's on the leaderboard?
I know Rory's up there.
He's in the lead.
I know Bryson's up there.
He's in second right now.
Rose kind of fell, didn't he?
Yeah, every year. Everybody's like, oh, he's going to come out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
I don't know. I don't think I'm really a huge fan of Rory winning it. I think it'd be nice because he hasn't. And I'm not a huge Bryson fan either.
Yeah. Yep.
I'd like a young kid to win it.
Like who?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Like watching, when we were watching the documentary on Netflix, some of the younger players that were a part of that, like I think it'd be cool to see like one of them win it. But again, would it be cool, for Rory to win?
Between the two, between Bryson and Rory, I would prefer Rory to win.
I was just that was kind of my thought.
And it has nothing to do with like people are like, you just hate Bryson because he's like a face of something different. Like, no. But if I'm going to compare swings as a coach, as somebody that's in the PGA, that does this for a living, I think Bryson's a robot.
Yeah.
I don't think he's real.
Also, how high has Bryson reached on the world rankings?
He's been in top 10 a couple of times.
Top 10 a couple of times. Rory was number one.
Yeah, he's been number one.
I think he's a better golfer.
Yeah, and like for Bryson is like he's so smart.
Yeah.
And that is why he is good.
Yeah.
He is a wizard when it comes to the sport. He is just a machine. And so watching him, I'm like, it's not fun to me.
No.
I'm like, you don't have a fluid, beautiful swing. Nobody could teach you that swing.
And hasn't he been hitting like 200 balls after every round too?
Yeah.
Was that him? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild. Talk about an athlete, first off.
Yeah.
All of them.
But like, I don't know. I would like Rory to win. I was a big fan of Ludwig Aberg. He's younger, up and coming. I think he's great. I would love to see him make a run for it. But I don't know. I think like
I just hope Rory doesn't freaking choke.
Right, and it's hard because these two were head to head in the U.S. Open last year in Pinehurst.
Right. Yep.
And Rory lost.
Well, yeah. One of the reporters asked him about that, and he's like, "Well, the number one thing I have to keep in my mind is not to think of it as a rematch and just play my own game.
Yeah, that's all.
Don't worry about him."
Like that's the thing is like as soon as they start being aggressive, I think that they'll
fall apart.
That's part of Augusta.
Well, I mean, it's huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge. It's massive.
Right. So, no, I did get a new hat. Lewis, my boss, went on Friday, got me a hat
Cup.
and
Nice cup.
such a nice cup. I wish I had it, but I don't want to flaunt it. I do have my Adidas Masters cup that they sent me. So we're doing the green.
Doing the green.
Should we just have egg salad and pimento cheese sandwiches all day?
We should. That sounds great to me. That sounds great to me.
With the crust cut off?
Absolutely.
Peach ice cream sandwiches?
I don't know if I could do a peach ice cream sandwich.
That's what they have. If you ever want to come to the Masters with me, you'll have to...
If I ever want to come to the Masters with you...
You have to eat a peach sandwich.
I will eat one of everything there. Absolutely. I've seen the TikToks of people like, this is what I ate at the Masters. And I'm like, give me them all. Like, yeah.
For $1.50?
Yeah, do I like peaches? No. If I'm at the Masters, am I going to try a peach ice cream sandwich? Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah.
No doubt in
Their
my
chocolate
mind.
chip cookies are good, too.
Yep, I've heard those are good. People say their barbecue sandwich is good. People say everything's good.
Because you can get, like, a Masters box of their food sent to your house.
I've seen that. That would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, $1.50 for, like, a sandwich is crazy. That's awesome. I love that. I love that.
But yes, I'll be going to the Masters next year because I will be a Class A member.
Yeah.
So we get tickets as a PGA professional.
You get to pick like one day, or is it randomized?
So no, because to go to Augusta, it's a lot of executive tickets. So if there's a sponsor, if there's a company that works within, Augusta, anything like that, that's how you get in. You can get spectator tickets, but you get into a lottery and
Right.
you have to wait
Hope and pray.
long time.
And then whatever you get drawn for, that's the day you get, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you get a practice round. You could get Sunday. You could get Friday.
Yeah, you put it in for each day. Like, it's not like,
Got it.
oh, I can only go on Thursday,
so you
but
just put
here's
in
your
for,
Monday ticket.
So you just put in for the Masters in general,
Mm-hmm.
and they spit out something if you win. That's what you get.
Right. For PGA professionals, you get to choose outside of the weekend.
Gotcha.
I would love to go to the women's amateur event on Sunday, the Sunday before the actual Masters.
Yep.
That's like I would love to do that.
That'd be pretty cool.
Those girls can play and they are good. And
Yeah,
they're all
absolutely.
like 14, 15, 16
wild.
years old.
Absolutely wild.
It's insane. And even like the drive, chip, and putt, like we've thought about doing it at our course and like doing a qualifier because those kids, like, can you imagine being 9 years old doing a drive, chip, and putt at Augusta National?
No.
That is crazy. But yeah, no, I'm wearing the crow's nest hat. Last year he got me Amen Corner, which was, I do like that hat.
Yep.
It's a green hat.
Solid green hat. Yep.
But
Yeah, tell them for those who don't know what the crow's nest is.
so the crow's nest, there is a drink named after the crow's nest, but it's not that. The crow's nest it's in the top of the main clubhouse where they allow amateurs to stay that qualified to play in the Masters. So a lot of these amateurs, they don't make money. They're in college. They're
on the grind.
There's a handful of them. If you watch the Masters in the first couple of days, you'll see them. They give them highlights. They'll pair them up with somebody good, and it's an awesome experience. But as many of you, or if you don't know, to go to Augusta during Masters Week, good luck, because it's expensive. There's nowhere to stay. It's crazy. It's not like you're going to Pebble Beach in California where there's hotels and there's stuff everywhere.
Right.
You're in the middle of nowhere, Georgia, and there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing unless if you can cut off your arm and leg, donate it, and get a couple grand. But it's crazy. But it's a beautiful. They have the most beautiful view. They have a 360 view. They can see like a couple of holes, but there's cots up there. TVs.
It's like a bunkhouse, right?
It's literally just a bunkhouse, so they call it the crow's nest. But it was a joke because Lewis gets all of us a hat. He's gone us for the past 2 years, and he will give me first dibs at what I want, because I don't know if I've ever mentioned it, but my 2 kryptonites are shoes and hats.
Yes.
I got a lot of hats.
A lot of hats, a lot of shoes.
So, no, and it's always a joke, and it's not anything serious, but we talk about, I'm the only female that's in a professional position at my club, and soon to be the only female in our department. But I was like, give me the crow's nest hat, because I'm the only bird in the department. And he's like, done, easy.
It's a sweet hat too.
But when I went into work on Saturday morning, he showed up and I was grinding. We had a lot going on in the morning. It was a busy morning. And so I'm sitting there. I'm at the front desk doing some work. And he was like, can you just go to your office? Like, I can't wait. And I was like, okay, yeah. And so I see the hat and I was like, oh my God, that's sick. And he was like, no, like, close your eyes. And I was like, what do you mean? Close my eyes. And I was like, okay. He was like, okay, close your eyes, put your hands out. I put my hands out, and he puts it's a Tervis mug.
It's beautiful.
And it's like a hand-drawn, beautiful cup. And it has the clubhouse on it, has azaleas on it, like the Masters logo.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful cup. And I was like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
I also had one of my members went on Wednesday, and he got me a key fob, a pink Masters key fob.
Oh, nice.
But he hasn't given it to me yet, and I'm very excited about that. And Lewis is going to be upset once I get it, because he was looking for the pink key fob. It's actually a pink bag tag with it's just like a small circle with the Masters logo on it.
Yeah.
And he has custom golf balls with pink lettering for his 2 daughters. And then his wedges are black with pink.
Yeah.
All of his accents on like his equipment are pink for his 2 girls.
So he wanted one bad.
He wants one bad.
And
Better
luck next year.
Yeah. Sorry, sucker.
Yep.
I don't feel bad for you. You were at the Masters.
Exactly.
Exactly. On a Friday round.
Yeah.
But no, I'm excited. I love the Masters. I mean, everybody does, but especially when you're in the industry and you can appreciate the magic. Like, you can't go in there and you can't have your phone. There's strict rules.
Yeah.
Like, it's old style golf.
Yeah.
Like, it's
old school, yeah.
It's big time, and it's just awesome to see like where it's come and how it's changed, but some things just never change.
Right.
And I love it because you look at Waste Management tournament, and it's
a booze fest.
It's a booze fest. You go down to the players, everybody's drunk, they're hanging around in Florida.
Right. It has some class to it, the Masters.
It's
very, very classy.
It's so classy. And it's a beautiful place. It's a gorgeous place.
Yeah.
So no, I'm very excited that it's Masters Sunday, and obviously through all of the stuff that we've been through this past week, it's nice to
to have a little break.
Yep.
We'll probably watch some Masters, maybe get some groceries. I'll probably stream later. Good
going
Sunday.
Up to Burt and Kyle's.
Yep.
Burt and Kyle's. So Papa Rob's is open.
Papa Rob's is open. Best ice cream shop in all of North Carolina. Best banana pudding ice cream you could ever ask for.
That is so nasty, so gross.
Can't wait. Can't wait. But happy Sunday. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Hopefully maybe next week.
Are you leaving next week?
Next Sunday I will be gone, so we'll have to film one in the morning. Are you off Sunday next week? Or are you unsure? Yeah. Okay. So we'll film, we might do it like we did this weekend, do it early. I fly out to Texas again next Sunday for a bachelor party. So I will be out of town starting next Sunday till Friday. But thank you for being here. Happy, happy, happy Sunday. Hopefully next weekend we come to you with some good housing news, or we're still on the grind. You never know. But we hope you all have a great week. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting the BB page,
Share it.
The BK Lounge. Share the page. All of our socials are right there. Like, subscribe, comment, rate. Do everything and anything you can. Take 5 minutes out of your day. Go to all of our platforms. Like it, comment, download it. It helps us out a ton. We appreciate you all. Any last words, Kenneth?
Love you. Bye.
Y'all be good now.
This has been the BK Lounge Podcast with Burt and Kenny. We hope you enjoyed your time diving deep in on wild topics, listening to crazy stories, and hanging out with us. We'll see you next week live on Twitch. Be sure to check out our website for all our social links at www.thebkloungepod.com. Y'all be good now, and we'll see you next time.